to Next Chapter Chats, the podcast rewriting the script on what life really looks like for us after 50. Because here's the truth. We're not fading out. This chapter, we're just getting started. I'm Pat Browne. I'm the creator and host of Next Chapter Chats. And this season, we're getting even bolder. If you've ever asked yourself, who am I without a title? Where did my voice go? What's next when the world says, slow down, and you're not ready to do that? Then this is the space for you. And I'm not doing this alone anymore. I'm thrilled to introduce my new co-host and dear friend, Penelope Matheson.
Pat, thank you. I am so excited to be a part of this conversation. The one no one had with us when we turned 50 or even 60.
So true.
For that matter.
We're kicking off today's chats with our own stories. I got here because I wasn't ready to retire.
And I'm definitely not ready for retirement, and I'm a few years older than you are.
True.
I'm not even close, as this boomer generation is literally reframing what retirement is and is not.
True, absolutely. We're the first generation of women who've had power, who've had privilege, and a platform. And now we're asking ourselves, how do we use that? How does that stay part of us as we head into this next chapter? For me, I was lonely. I needed more purpose.
You missed your community.
I did. I lost of purpose, and frankly, I lost seeing somebody like me so that I knew what was coming.
In the media.
Absolutely. So today we're going to dive into what retirement really means and how it's being completely redefined by women like us. We're going to have an honest conversation. We'll hopefully find some bold ideas and the occasional laugh. Because
I hope so.
Yes, this isn't about aging. It's about becoming. So let's get into it.
This next chapter.
Absolutely.
Loving it. So there's another layer for me. I'm not retired.
No.
I am 70 years old. I am vibrant. I'm energetic. I love what I do. And I think one of the things that's driving me also is that I literally switched careers not only in my 50s, but in my late 50s. Long story, but through volunteerism, serving on boards, I discovered this whole nonprofit space, and that's where I wanted to be. So I literally did an about-face, left corporate life, went back to night school to get accreditation as a fundraising professional, and had to remarket myself. That was fun.
Yes.
That was really, really fun. And so I'm really not ready to stop because I've only been in this space for about 10 years. And the world needs our help. So that's sort of what's driving me.
So with that in mind, what is retirement?
Exactly. And what isn't it?
I think it's a really good question. My own personal story. Some of our listeners will have heard this before, but in COVID, I stopped working at the agency I was at.
Right.
And then the agency actually imploded and no longer even exists. So I was left with this blank. Like, what do I do? I replaced it for a little bit with the neighborhood I lived in, with friends and helping out. Even
kind of like a mini vacation?
Sort of. Hosting parties.
Yeah. Filling in time.
But at some point, I started to notice I wasn't becoming me anymore. I need intelligent conversation.
Yes, me too.
I need that sort of mental stimulation. It's not to say that the people I know are not intelligent, but it's that quest for new knowledge, the quest for new perspectives. Not everybody's going to see everything the way I see it, and it shouldn't be like that.
It's also routine.
It's very routine. So out of that came Next Chapter. I had been talking to other women like me and I was hearing the same questions.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't know what retirement meant for us.
Exactly.
We didn't know what it looked like. And this became so obvious as I talked to people because I'd asked them what they're doing now, and they had great plans and great ideas. Yep. Most of them were being entrepreneurial. They were starting something new at this stage in their lives. But when I asked them what 10 years from now look like, unanimously, we said we couldn't see the future. We didn't know.
Right.
And from that came the understanding that we didn't see ourselves reflected around us.
Precisely.
We didn't know what. At this point, I was 65, just turned 65. I didn't know what 70 looked like. I certainly didn't think 70 looked like you. I remember asking, AI, early days, give me a picture of an attractive woman who's 65. And the image that was provided to me looked like I thought of as a grandmother.
When we first met, you showed me that picture without the backstory and said, how old do you think this woman is? I went, 80s? And you went, and I thought, higher. I was trying to be kind. I went to 85, and then you told me.
And
65.
65. And I even went down from there. I said, well, what does a 60-year-old or a 59-year-old look like? And they were still feeding back somebody who was aged, I hate to say this, but lacked personal style, kind of what we thought of as the women of the past who became that I am quiet, I am fading into the background. And the reason for that is that AI, as much as we think of it as being a thinking thing, only thinks about what society gives it.
Exactly.
And this is what society had given it. So when I was talking to other women, they were all saying the same thing. They couldn't see the future. Yeah. So that became my quest, is like, how do I talk to women? How do we bring to the public women like us, today's woman?
How do we change the conversation?
Yeah.
And the image.
It's the image in this case, so that we know that there's vibrancy. Yes, and we will get into this part of the conversation at some point. Things change. Physically, they're not the same. But how do we still maintain who we are? Because the inside me feels exactly the same as she did at 35, 45, 55, 65. I do most days,
except when my knee doesn't hold out. But
well, my knees have been shit since I was like 45, so that's not going to change. I'm not able to do the big, HIIT workouts that I used to do. It takes longer for recovery.
For sure.
But it's like, so, what do we do?
Yes. So the quandary is when I think of retirement, I think of my parents' generation. And a lot of us, if you want to use the 80-20 rule, a lot of us grew up with dad was the single breadwinner, as they were called. So dad worked probably at the same company for his whole life with a pension. Mom was at home. And that was that was my reflection of retirement. And I remember my dad saying, get a great job, make sure you get benefits and get a good pension. Well, like you, I started in advertising who don't offer pensions. Fast forward, when you look at the baby boomer generation, the children, us, with fewer working moms, and that is completely reversed now, or almost reversed.
I think the stats say it has completely reversed.
So there we go. So now you have families, typically two-income families, and the male and female are high-income earners.
Yeah.
They are more equal. There's so many differences. So you've got this other level, but the other factor is we're living longer.
Oh, that's a whole different story, yes.
And healthier.
Yep.
And more interesting. So back to your point, how do we find this outlet that gives us purpose, that gives us community?
Yep.
Where do we go to ask questions, to get answers? AI is a very small source for us right now, as you have found out.
Absolutely. Well, you've brought up a really interesting point. I love stats. People know that.
Yes. Well, you're an economist. So.
Yes. Statistically, we are living a whole generation longer.
Yes.
Than was believed before us. So even our retirement planning was based on the concept that you were going to live maybe 15 years
after retirement.
Yep. For men, it was actually 5, maybe 10 years.
Exactly.
So even if you were really good and put money away, money is going to be an issue because we are living longer. Even my own mother is 92 and she's going strong. We've kind of forced her as her kids to start using a walker. I don't know if she really needs it. She's very capable of getting around. So it
is economics, but it's also taking us back to purpose.
Purpose
and
is
community.
Huge. Yeah.
So I have been working for 50 years. Mm-hmm. I started in the agency business, the ad agency business in the 70s. Mm-hmm. So, which is when a lot of baby boomers at the younger end of the scale entered the workforce.
Yes.
Career-oriented, driven, educated. So when we look at that just doesn't correlate to our picture of what we see as retirement.
Certainly not what most people originally, even with us, if we were being asked at 50, when we were 50, what retirement would look like for you, what were you going to do in retirement? So the answer was usually, I'm going to travel. I've spent my life traveling.
So here's the other factor. For women like you and I who have been in we'll call it the white-collar workforce, and I do hate that term. That is so antiquated, but I don't know another one, being a boomer. My internal alarm clock is 5:30 a.m. because for decades, this is when I get up. And so when that is ingrained with you, when you've been conditioned for so many years of waking up to an alarm clock, getting ready, to prepare yourself to go to work, to have a full day, a 10-hour day, a 12-hour day, even 14-hour days. And then what that is removed, how do you fill in that time? I'm still getting up at 5:30.
Oh, I don't.
You're much wiser than I am in that regard.
Nope. You know what? I can remember, this was actually in my 50s, going to my doctor and saying, I'm tired all the time. And she just simply looked at me and said, you're not retired. And I honestly didn't understand what she was talking about.
She said that?
She did. Now, she was missing that I was actually in perimenopause and there was all sorts of shit going on in my body.
Fun times.
But now, because I still don't sleep through the night, I don't know if I ever will again. But now I find that I'm waking up naturally at 8 o'clock, which is
healthy.
That extra 2 hours gives me that time to be able to do the day. So it's my body has adjusted a bit.
Me not so much.
Oh, in some ways it's better because you work out far more consistently than I do now, which I need to force back into my life because I'm finding I'm just not moving the way I should. And that again goes back to, we're talking about what is successful retirement. We did look at sort of the 3 pillars. We've just talked about them. The number one is your health.
Absolutely.
Because if you don't have your health, but health is physicality. It's hopefully shit doesn't happen.
Mental health.
Emotional health. All of that fits into your health.
Definitely.
The second you need is community. And it's proven.
100%.
If you have people to speak to, if you have, and all generations, all types of people, if you actually just interact with somebody that you meet on the streets, the more you do this, it is proven to actually extend your lifespan.
I'll be living to 100.
Yeah. But
Chatty Penelope.
I'm sure, no, it was Chatty Cathy was the doll. The last one is probably the most important, though. We've just
Purpose.
We need a purpose.
Yes.
The days when you went to the office, you had a purpose. We identified with the title, definitely, but that was also part of the purpose. And this is what I personally think is the difference between being happy and healthy and involved is if you have a purpose. So I've often said this, you need a purpose. You need some reason to get up in the morning. You don't necessarily need to be remunerated, but that's a whole different conversation about funding retirement.
There's different layers.
But you do need to get up for something.
So one of the, as you know, I'm a huge volunteer, possibly too much. I've been serving on boards for 21 years. I volunteer. I've raised in excess of $40 million collectively with my other teammates for various organizations. And that was not only part and parcel of my incentive and motivation to want to transition to the nonprofit space to literally be able to serve, but also one of the things that I'm semi-retired. And when I say that, I don't wish to work 5 days a week. I love having purpose. I love having projects, which is why I love doing contract work. And I'm available 2 days a week. But also having that purpose. So with volunteerism, for example, I also mentor. I'm mentoring 2 Gen Zs and a high school student.
Fantastic.
And so it's very fulfilling. It's another layer of purpose, but it's still not enough for me. I like that business. I really love that aspect of it. I love creating. I know you do as well. So volunteerism and mentorship is certainly one area for purpose that I strongly support and even promote.
Volunteerism has so many layers.
Yes, huge.
And we often hear people say, well, now you've got the time, you can volunteer.
And what does time mean? Is it an hour a day?
Well,
a week?
That comes into it. And what is the volunteer?
Yes.
Is it, I've had a whole life as, senior management making decisions. I don't want to do that anymore. I just want to give my time.
Yes. And
help people find their way around a hospital or direct them at a museum. That is one thing. It gives you a reason to get up, and it also feeds into the sense of community.
If I can just add, so for our generation who are well educated, vastly experienced, we also have a toolkit which probably outshines many millennials' toolkits, for example. So we can lend those skills and those connections and that energy to organizations to serve even at a slightly higher level, whether you want to create projects or get involved with fundraising. Apart from looking at where the news is now, but the whole thing about that I noticed, which was one of the things that drove me into the charitable sector, was there is this pool of philanthropic funds.
Yes.
It hasn't changed.
So it hasn't grown even as we have grown.
Okay. And yet there's a new charity every week. And so you've got more and more needs as the world escalates on many levels, whether it's humanitarian, environmental, blah, blah, blah. But you've got all of those layers. There's so many applications that each of us can attribute if we wish to volunteer or mentor.
That brings up 2 questions to me. One, where do you go to find a place?
Great question.
Where do I go? I've got the time. I'd like to volunteer. Where do I go?
I think familiarity probably is what motivates most people. So if you want to volunteer for the university that you attended, or maybe you want to volunteer at a hospital where you have recently been treated or a family member has. I volunteered for Princess Margaret Hospital for 8.5 years. It was a privilege. It was immense. It completely changed my perspective and also prompted me to go into this sector.
Cool.
But So I think, but to your first question, where do you go? There's Volunteer Toronto, Volunteer Canada. I think there might be a Volunteer Ontario. There's lots of organizations, but what we're trying to do as Next Chapter Chats.
Mhm.
Number one, I hope our viewers know that we've applied for nonprofit status, because we have. And one of the reasons for that is to literally walk the talk, so that we can work with organizations that are looking for mentorship, volunteers that we might be able to offer to our
Okay.
audience
So,
and make it less onerous, because you've had that experience and
yeah.
I've had that experience of trying to fill out a volunteer application that is so onerous.
It's like applying for a job.
Do you know what? It might even be harder. But I would probably guess that 50% of people that start that process give up. So if we can shift that
That
and
would be
offer a
lovely.
benefit.
Well, I know purely by knowing somebody and being recommended,
Yeah.
I started volunteering with, then it was called the Sugar Plum Fair.
Beautiful.
It was a wonderful experience. It was a fundraiser for the National Ballet School, which
Amazing.
I don't know whether it still is, but at the time it was the only school for talent that was entirely talent driven, and you didn't have to have somebody donate for or provide for you. And a lot of the kids that went there didn't have the funds.
And so you
So,
loved that experience.
I loved it. But what I really loved was very quickly in the organization, I was identified as somebody who could do stuff. And I started be giving more and more things to do until I eventually chaired the
I am not at all
committee.
surprised.
And I learned to be a buyer, and I learned to be a marketer, and I learned to do a lot of stuff.
And you were still working full time when you're doing this.
This was
on the side.
on the side. And it was a lot of fun, and we had wonderful galas, and we raised good money, to the point now that it doesn't exist anymore because the fund is fully endowed.
That is remarkable.
Forever.
That is remarkable.
That wasn't to do with me.
Kudos.
This was to do with the organization over the years. But when I said, okay, now I'm ready to do more, and this is the interesting part, I looked to other organizations which were larger, probably more established, definitely more established. But as soon as you tried to do something on a larger scale within these organizations, they wanted you to commit serious dollars to be part of that organization. It's not sitting on the boards. Boards are even more dollars.
Yes.
But just if you wanted to be on the committee for the gala, you personally were expected to back one or two tables.
And that is absolutely correct. And I think that organizations, I thank them when they're upfront about that, because when we talked about there's so many layers of volunteerism. To be at that level, you might not want to start there.
I don't think I can go there at any point. They were talking several,
but I will
$50,000
say,
to $100,000.
I honestly believe there is something for everybody. So whether even if you're shy, you don't have to be out in public. You don't have to be giving presentations. You really can, with the right coaching, you really can contribute to an organization what you wish to contribute, non-financially. Your time, your skills, your contacts, your energy. And what I suggest is just try it.
So this is partly what you're talking about when you're mentoring or a mentor program?
Great question. So one of the individuals that I mentor, Carolyn, who you know, like me, wanted to leave corporate and go into the nonprofit space because she was being downsized at 50. And she thought, okay, this is the second time it's happened to me. The writing's on the wall. Clearly, I'm going to continue to be over 50.
Yep.
So what can I do? And so she is now in the nonprofit space. And she's volunteering to get, I guess, I don't want to see your legs, to get in the door.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's a great place to start. And that has happened to me as well. I have volunteered for organizations which, rightly or wrongly, turned around, they went, "We really need to hire you." And I went, "You can't. I can't be on the board and do this." So I'd have to step down from the board. But it is such a vast community, back to community, and such incredible purpose.
Yeah.
It fulfills a lot of
things.
buckets.
So the short answer is that Next Chapter Chats is going to eventually have a space on our website where we will have places for people to go to find opportunities across the country. This is not just in Toronto. This is
national.
And
they'll have been vetted.
Yes.
So that Next Chapter Chats followers don't have to go through that 22-page process of filling out pre-vetted. So it's a much simpler process, and it's more inviting. It's not just that it's onerous. Make it friendly. Make it inviting. It's like, I want to give you my time and energy and skills, please, and then I'll give you money. And they're saying, "Oh no, but first you have to." It's like something is definitely wrong here.
Yeah, and it's the ability to go back for me to the purpose.
Yes.
For me to be really excited about doing something, I need to engage my creative side. That's just who I am.
Yes.
That has been one of the blessings of aging. I have become far more comfortable referring to myself as a creative.
Good.
And I'm far more comfortable. Well, I'm engaged when I get to be creative.
Yes.
So,
I would say fulfilled.
Fulfilled, definitely. Yeah. So when I want to do something, even if it's Next Chapter Chats, in the background, I'm doing all of the graphics. I'm doing all of the writing.
This is all you.
Yes.
This is all you.
And it's exciting, and I feel very fulfilled by it. So if I were to get involved in, well, I know I went to one charity, and I said, I can do your newsletter for you. I can turn your newsletter into a
gift.
Fundraising opportunity.
Yes.
Generally speaking, I haven't been taken up on it.
Oy. That is...
So
and so to your point, that unfortunately is what... So in defense of charities that are underfunded, under-resourced, and what I should also have mentioned, leaving corporate to go into the nonprofit, the pay is less than half. So do not rush into that if you're looking to retire. But it's fulfilling in other ways. So there is that layer. Sorry to interrupt.
No, that's not an interrupt. That's really good. So we have to find our own purpose. And
we might not land on it the first time. Try a few things. Shop around. Talk to Next Chapter Chats people.
Well, that's right. We do want everybody to be part of the conversation.
Yes.
What I've found when speaking to other women is either there was a natural calling, so
and for me there was.
That yes,
it's another episode.
Thing. But it was for some, it was literally, I am going to address ageism.
Yes.
I am going to call it out and say ageism is, it's probably the last form of prejudice.
Can I also add, it seems exclusive to women.
I would caution with that
80-20? Not exclusive. 80-20.
I think women definitely are probably called out more
often
because we as society, we have been, a lot of it, evaluated on how we look.
Yes.
So if you're aging...
As opposed to what we bring to the table.
Yes. But if you're aging and you've lost that spark of vitality.
Collagen. We've lost collagen.
Well, you could do it that way. I was thinking just like the inner glow, but
yes, okay.
The spark of vitality that says, I'm still doing stuff. And there are people who just do this. If you're a woman in business, you're going to be identified faster, I think, than a man in the similar position.
Agreed.
Because he's not being measured by his physicality.
Correct.
The same way.
Correct.
So, yes, I remember my entire 50s, I went to, the gym was called F45.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a HIIT program.
Great facility.
I love it. I would highly recommend it to anybody who wants to try it. But during my 50s, I went every day.
Because
I needed to maintain sort of a really, really high level of energy.
Youth.
Oh, it gave me absolute cred with all of the young people in the agency that I was doing.
You outran them.
I can't do that anymore.
Shh.
I know, but I can't.
Don't say can't.
I can do something else.
Yeah, you can.
But I can't do that. No.
Okay.
I tried.
That's okay.
I went back. I actually did
do something.
2 solid weeks of it. But it took me over a month to recover. So.
We're going to do an episode on fitness.
Yep.
Because I think that is one of the things that keeps us vibrant.
Yes.
It also, if you're looking for purpose, it will help to fill in your day. It doesn't matter what you do. There's no right or wrong when it comes to fitness. Mm-hmm. Whether it's a walk, a swim, a jog, a weightlift, it doesn't matter. Do something.
Actually, you know what? When we get into it, it does matter a bit because there are things that we need to do.
Definitely.
That will enable you as you go forward.
I agree.
So we'll find
for
somebody.
For women like you and I who have worked out, but for those that may not have worked out or not been in a gym, it can be scary entering that space.
Yeah.
So that's why I suggest it doesn't matter. Just try something physical.
Start.
And that's the hardest part.
I loved it. Somebody else said this.
I don't want to start retirement. I'm not ready.
I'm not ready for that. Well, yes. You know what? I did not coin this phrase, but I think it's wonderful.
What's that?
It's not one day. It's day one.
Oh, that's good.
So, wake up in the morning and say, this is day one.
Yes.
Of the new me. Of the new me. Whatever
the new chapter.
Doing. So that actually brings up one of the things that I hear all the time is, how do you identify yourself? Who am I?
Oh, God, great question.
Without that title.
You and I were talking about this the other day, and for the first time in my life, I don't know how to answer that question. Mm-hmm. And I'm pretty smart.
Yeah.
But when people say, because for so many decades, when people say, I'm this, I'm with Fashion Magazine, or I'm with Revlon, or I'm with whatever, I am identifying myself by that association because I worked so hard to get there. We all have. And so when that is taken away and people say, so what do you do, Penelope? I say, well, I volunteer. I serve on the board for the Red Door Family Shelter, and I do this and I do that. But I'm really reaching for things. And I think that's a really valid point, Pat. How do we define ourselves?
There is a difference here. We've never talked about this. I lived in Australia for 10 years.
Yes.
When I came back, and I'm from Vancouver originally. When I came back to Canada, I moved to Toronto because that's where the ad business was.
Yep.
If anybody talks about the difference between the West Coast and the Central Canada, it really, truly does exist. But part of it is because of this identification thing.
Yes.
In Western Canada, when I lived there, can't tell you what it's like now, and Australia, when I was there.
You did not identify yourself by your title.
No. Yeah. You identified by what you did. I was I rode horses. I did equestrian events. I rode my bike. I did cycling marathons.
You did you.
So when somebody asks you, what do you do?
Yes.
It was really an interesting conundrum when I moved here, because if I had asked somebody in those two places, what do you do? It would be, what sport did I get involved with? What did I do to fill my personal time? Do you surf? Australia, everybody wanted to surf.
So what do you do? If I ask that question now, so what do you do? Now that you're in Toronto?
Now that I'm in Toronto, I'm identifying myself as a podcaster.
Perfect.
Yes, because
Perfect.
I've morphed into
And
the
now I
Toronto
will as
world.
well.
Yes. But you're right. It took me a long time to understand
Yes.
when I first got here. That was the first cultural difference that I ran into and didn't really understand at first because people would be taken aback. I'm at a function. I don't know you. I'm learning to network here. And it's okay, well, what do you do?
Yeah.
And people would, it's like I'm asking for their resume and their bank account information. And that wasn't the case in my world.
Mm-hmm.
So identifying with what's part of my inside.
We're still identifying. So what we do.
Yes, we are still identifying with what we do.
So thank you for that tidbit because I wouldn't have thought of identifying myself as a podcaster.
Part of doing this whole thing has been because I needed purpose.
Yes.
I still need structure to my days.
Yes. Well, see.
I need to, and we were just talking about having to spend time to literally put into the calendar when things are due because we are expanding Next Chapter. It is not just going to be a podcast. As you're seeing, this is now on YouTube. We have a YouTube channel.
Yay.
But we are going to delve into some really, really important subjects.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just about what one person is doing in their retirement years. It's about what we need to know to equip ourselves to go into those years. So,
starting with women's health.
Women's health.
Physical, mental, emotional, even financial, which was part of our conversation today. Yes. Purpose and community. We know that having purpose adds to longevity.
Yes.
We know that having community not only adds to longevity, but purpose and happiness. So when you have those things, and so now we've created this community, we can even, when our new site is up, we can even start women connecting with other women. Yeah. I've just moved, they might have moved from Vancouver to Toronto and they're looking to join a network, make some friends. This is what it's about. People have to start something.
Do you know what the most amazing thing about when I started this?
What?
In my working career, just to give some background to this, the most challenging competition in business was from other women. It was like we didn't have room for everybody at the table.
What a shame.
What I found in doing this is that we're all incredibly supportive of one another.
So is that maturity?
Maybe it's maturity. Maybe it is actually more, and this is one of the gifts of aging, is more sense of self, more sense of self-worth, and maybe getting rid of that monkey on our back.
Yes.
That was called the imposter syndrome.
And not giving a shite about what other people think because it just is irrelevant.
It is irrelevant. It is,
confidence.
I'm confident in myself. It's not I'm boastful. It's just inside myself.
Yeah.
I know I can do stuff. So having a sense of purpose, having the ability to do something and knowing that you can do something.
Yes.
Interesting. Last night was not a good night for me.
Sorry to hear that.
Yeah. I woke up in the middle of the night having kind of nightmares. I was kind of worried about today. And I was all of that inside gremlins about, can you be successful?
Doubt. That brother doubt, yes.
So it's not entirely gone. I haven't become superhuman.
And that's okay. Because that's also what keeps us sharp and keeps us curious and keeps us chatting to other women and men.
Absolutely.
About purpose and community and women's health. I really want to get into women's health because what I also know, as someone who comes from the funding streams, as in a fundraiser, what I also know is that the stats on spend, about the stats around spending on women's health research, I'm not even talking mental health yet.
Can I say 0?
But the stats is less than 20% The 80% is spent on typically male-dominated diseases and viruses and that sort of thing. But of that 20%, I believe it's something like 90% of that is on reproductive rights.
Yeah.
So net, and yet, fact, not necessarily a fun fact, but a fact nonetheless, as we age, the propensity to acquire poor health or declining health increases.
Yes.
And so the disparity when you have low funding and yet here's when you need it. Hospitals are now getting up to speed on that. I live in Mississauga. Mississauga is launching the first women and children's hospital.
Okay.
In our region, actually in Ontario.
Okay.
And so that's a pretty big deal. But it's taken that long to say, you know what? They have different needs. Women's bodies are built differently. We have different issues. Yep. Heart and stroke is our number one killer.
That's really interesting. And I didn't know that. Post-menopause, because estrogen levels go down, women, number one killer is heart disease.
I know.
Number two is probably to do with bone density because you fall, you break your hip, you're going to die within a short time from...
Or need a new one.
Well, yeah. I think that's universal. New hips and new knees just kind of wear out. Did I know this though? Absolutely not.
Not until you encountered it.
I've got 3 girlfriends now, women that I personally know who were diagnosed with AFib.
Oy.
So
I'm sorry.
They're addressing it, but there was nothing in their families to indicate this. This was not something that was on their radar. They just felt bad. They felt differently. And over time, not immediately, they were diagnosed. Because again, you go to the doctor and say, you know what, I'm feeling a little lightheaded. My heart races so much that it causes me to cough to try to get it to slow down. These are signs of AFib.
Yes, and also signs of our generation. And so if we can, in our own way, if we can help to support funding for women's health research, this would be I hope that we can get all of our supporters on board with this. This is huge. We are in that generation that wasn't ready for us. We're living longer.
Yes.
And because we're, well educated, we're mouthier than we used to be. We're not stopping down.
Well, it's not mouthy. It's we're
Confidence.
Willing to speak up.
Yes.
I understand that Dr. Wendy Wolfman, who ran the only postgraduate mature women's health program in the world,
at Sinai,
she was doing that and is doing that out of Toronto. She's a professor there.
Yeah.
She is now heading up the first mature women's clinic in the world, and it's at Mount Sinai in Toronto.
Goodness. In 2025.
Yes. So there are so many things that we don't know about that are impacting our bodies. And we're saying, is there not something I can do about this? Because I do want to remain vibrant. Yeah. I do want to remain relevant. I do want to remain active. And things are coming at me from all directions.
Yes. And time is of the essence.
Yes.
This group, I don't want to say glut, but this group of concentrated demographic women,
we're the
baby
balloon.
boomers.
We're the balloon.
Living longer, there's a lot of us.
Yes.
We need help. There has been a lack of women's health care, apart from research, but a lack of women's health care, specifically women's health care for us. I don't know that Canada or any other country, for that matter, are prepared well enough for this generation.
I would say no. I think based on everything I'm seeing in the media right now is that we're not talking about something new here.
Right.
There is an incredible interest in what menopause does to our bodies. I would say a generation ago, it just simply wasn't talked about. I remember when my mother started to be, well, my cousin put it, she said, your mom doesn't smile anymore.
Oh.
What's going on with your mom? My mother was always smiling. She was always welcoming. She still is. But she went through a period where she was, I'm looking back now, she would have been going through menopause.
But now our generation are talking about it. And
We
so
are.
now we're seeing funding.
Starting
to see funding, good point. Starting to see funding around menopause, which is great. We are in another age group. And so menopause is huge. And I think they are finally getting the attention. Menopause is finally getting greater attention, which it needs. And I know it's getting greater funding for the research. That's one level.
Well, it's part of it.
Heart disease.
Yeah, that's the outcome. So I have to get the nomenclature correctly. We have perimenopause, which is that average 10 years before menopause. Menopause is now being considered that one day when you've gone 12 months without a period. And then you have postmenopause. Postmenopause is the part that's just starting to get looked at. We are starting
This is progress.
We are starting to hear about, we used to call it hormone replacement.
Yeah.
Now they're calling it.
I didn't do it.
Yeah, it used to be hormone replacement therapy. I am. It's made a huge difference to me. Without it, life was not good. And that's also part of the program. But trying to find a doctor who can help you at this stage in life. So we're talking about hormone health. What you'll find is we have gynecologists who are focused on reproductive. They're here to deliver babies. There is a dearth of medical professionals who have been trained on hormone therapy, not called replacement anymore, it's just being called hormone therapy, for women post-menopause. So there was a stat which I think said that if you started hormone therapy within 5 years of your last period, then you were safe and they can do it. But if you're now you're trying to get something 10 years out, there's literally no information.
So look how long it took to get there.
Oh, absolutely.
And so back to our point that we are focused on women's health in the most positive direction.
Yes.
And community and purpose and all those things. Those are really big issues.
Yes.
And we're going to be talking about those in future podcasts. We're going to be talking about makeup application for mature eyes. We're going to be talking about all sorts of things.
Yes.
But definitely health is at the focus of every conversation. And it needs to be. Women support women. We support one another. If someone is looking for assistance or help or just has a basic question, we hope that we can be a platform that they can lean into.
And I think that's a really nice way to finish today's conversation. We will be having guests who are professionals or specialists in their area. They will have answers to many of our questions that we don't have the answers for.
And we'll have resources on the website.
We will. So thank you, and thank you.
Thank you. This is my first episode with you, Pat. This was so exciting. And thank you for tuning in with us today. We're thrilled. We're so thrilled to be here, to be in this space, which Pat created, and through a mutual friend connected us. And here we are together making it bigger, bolder, better, and hopefully providing the answers that you would like. So please reach out to us. Go to our website at Next Chapter Chats. Chapter is CHPTR, as you can see. nextchapterchats.com, and you can reach us. Send us your questions, your comments, your suggestions. We'd love to hear them. What do you think, Pat?
I think that it's wonderful. If you've enjoyed today's show, follow us, like us, ask questions, share us. Try to speak Swedish. Leave a review, because that helps others find the community as well.
Totally. Great. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Next Chapter Chats can be found wherever you get your podcasts from. Every other week, we have a new episode, and we thank you so much for spending time with us now.